Hi students, so at this point we're going to go ahead and do this magnet investigation where we're going to see and investigate the field that's around a magnet. So at this point you should have in your notebooks that two-page spread labeled where you have on one side the spread is discussing, let me see here, the spread should say observations of the magnetic field and the right side of the page should say questions about the magnetic field. All right. What I'm about to do is I am going to use some materials to show you what the magnetic field looks like. As I am doing this, you need to be sure that you are adding labels and annotations to the sketch on that left side of the page when you make the observations of these iron filings. Okay, so again, as we're doing this investigation, make sure that you are recording and writing down either in words what you're observing. You should have a sketch drawn of that bar magnet so that you're able to sketch around what you are seeing and what the field looks like, and then writing in annotations to just little words about what you're seeing. Okay, and then I'll shortly discuss about the magnetic field. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tip my screen down here. So what you're going to see is I am going to have a magnet here, and I have a magnet, and it is inside of a plastic baggie. I got paper falling around here. I'm going to take a white sheet of paper, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this underneath of my magnet so that you can see it. So you'll see that we've got a north side and a south side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, we're going to leave this here, and I'm going to show you here real quick. I've got a plastic tray. All right, so in this plastic tray, I'm going to sprinkle iron filings. Let me show you what those look like. Iron filings, right, if you remember back to our magnet investigation, magnets do attract iron. Okay, and the idea is that by using these filings, we're going to see what does the magnetic field look like around a magnet, because we'll be able to see where things are attracted and repelled. So I'm going to take these, and I'm going to sprinkle them in this tray here. I'm going to try to sprinkle them evenly so that we can see pretty easily what the magnetic field looks like. Okay, so I've got them sprinkled in there quite evenly. I'll show you what this looks like. So if I tip my screen here, there's my magnet, and you should be able to see now, here are my iron filings. Now watch, I'm going to hold this right above the magnet, and you should notice that nothing really changes about these yet. But as I lower it down, hopefully you should see some changes begin to take place. Okay, and they're very subtle changes at first. I'm going to lower it down further and further. And now notice, I want you to look at this picture. I want you to see, what are you noticing about the iron filings in here, right? What are you noticing? So make sure you're writing down some observations, making a sketch of this drawing. Um, but the first question I want to ask is, what are you figuring out with these iron filings? What are some things we're figuring out with them? And I would encourage you to think about, what pattern are you seeing? Where do you see iron filings? How do they look there? Right? Is this a two-dimensional field, or is it a three-dimensional field? And I would encourage you, if you think it's two-dimensional, look at the ends of the magnet and see, are these iron filings, are they stacking up? And I will go ahead and sprinkle some more on here. And I want you to notice how, as I sprinkle, they seem to almost come up and rise into the air. So notice how I'm sprinkling them on this one side here. Notice how they're rising up into the air. I don't know if we can see that, but notice they're rising up in this direction, this way. It's quite cool. Are the patterns you see here the same at each end of the bar magnet, or are they different? What have you learned about forces and energy in the past units? And using that, where do you think this force is coming from? Okay, so think about all these things, but that is our magnet tray. Now notice, as I lift it up, you'll see that the magnet's going to try to attract with it. But as soon as I move it, notice how I can get them all back here, and I can change it. Okay, so that is our magnet demo. Okay, so please make sure that as you were recording, make sure you were putting a sketch of that into your science notebook, annotating different areas of that diagram, and then also writing down what questions you have with that. Okay, we will be discussing this magnet in our Zoom after school this day. Um, so please come ready to discuss some of the things that we've observed in this video. All right, thank you and have a great day.